What is happening, everybody? Mike from Metacomics coming at you with a Let's Play of Superhero Squad. Yeah, that's right, I played this little kid's game. I don't care if you freaking laugh at me or not. Yep, anyway, I thought since I was going to put this little gameplay up that maybe I could take this time to talk to you about a couple of comics that I didn't get to do reviews for last week that I'd like to talk about. One of those being The Amazing Spider-Man number 4, the full reveal of Silk, a character that we've been seeing built up over the last few issues, starting with Amazing Spider-Man number 1 and of course over the course of Original Sin. So let's go ahead and get started here. Basically the whole story of Amazing Spider-Man number 4 was, that was it, the reveal of Silk. Spider-Man finds out where she's being held and goes and rescues her, and we get to see her kind of in her element a little bit, get to see what some of her powers are like, and we find out she's actually a little bit stronger than Peter Parker in some ways. Her spider powers are much different in how they operate than Peter's. Like, for example, she doesn't need web shooters. Webs come right out of her fingers organically, and it appears that the webbing is stronger than what Spider-Man makes. She's also faster, and her spider sense is very intense. So she's very, very different from Peter Parker, even though she has a lot in common with him. Now, there was something at the end of this issue, a kind of romantic twist that is odd. I'll leave that up to you to read and find out. But that's basically the gist of the story. Now let's take a quick look here at some of the things that I liked and some of the things that I didn't like. I really enjoyed the artwork. I mean, it wasn't like super spectacular, but it was still very sharp and beautifully colored especially. I really liked the depth and richness in the colors. Silk is an interesting character. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with her more here in the future. I would really like to see them develop her into a character that sticks around in the series, maybe even one day gets her own series, rather than just being kind of a toss-away character from the Spider-Man universe that they just want to use for Spider-Verse coming up. I really think that there's a lot of potential to do something really cool and kind of groundbreaking with her. The dialogue was pretty good. It was typical Spider-Man fare. You know, it was funny, lots of good humor, with tinges of drama here and there, but it was mostly just funny, and the pacing was very quick, so it was a really quick read, and not in a bad way. The pacing fit perfectly with what Dan Slott was really trying to accomplish, I think. So it was a very, very good Original Sin tie-in. Now, let's talk about a couple of things that I didn't like. Alright? I didn't care much for this romantic twist that I'm telling you about, because I just felt like it was forced and too early to even bring this into the picture right now. So I just don't agree with that. But again, Dan Slott has been doing a fantastic job writing both Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man. I'm sure he knows what he's doing, so I'm not too terribly worried. I think that whatever he's got going on, it'll make sense in the end. Black Cat. I just hate every issue that I see her in. I just don't like her. I don't think she's a very good villain for Spider-Man. I think she's kind of weak. I don't think they've really taken time to develop her recently, you know, to make her relevant at all, which I feel like is maybe what they're trying to do now, but I don't know, it's just not working for me. I like Anna Maria, but or Anna Marie, whatever her name is, but I'm just not feeling her role in the new book. It's kind of like she's Spider-Man's keeper in a way, like she's been tasked with making excuses for him and covering for him and stuff like that. I think she's a decent character, but I just don't like, you know, her role now, and she's kind of always scolding Peter and telling him what to do. I don't know, I just don't really like that too much. There's a lot of good themes in this issue. The thing that gets me is that this served as a good bit of wisdom against acting in haste or on impulse. The whole issue is filled with examples of Peter making impulsive decisions, and usually these decisions have pretty serious ramifications for his future and the future of those around him. Peter Parker's always been a character that acts before he thinks, so, you know, this is nothing new. This is not groundbreaking territory here. It's kind of, you know, the tried and true formula, but it still works. It's kind of a bit of a fresher take this time around. I don't know if fresher is the right word for that or not, but because of Silk, it kind of works. Yeah, as soon as Parker found out that Silk existed, you know, he immediately started to have, you know, these conflicting emotions. Not really conflicting, but these emotions, strong emotions of, I need to go free her, I need to rescue her, I need to save her, without thinking about the possible consequences of unleashing this person into the world so quickly. He really didn't come up with a plan for doing this at all. So, you know, the typical Peter Parker, always making brash decisions, and things usually end up backfiring at some point. It's always wise, you know, to sit down, think through decisions, weigh out the pros and cons, seek wise counsel from people that you trust, or, you know, people who've gone through similar situations and come through it. You know, having that kind of information helps you to keep a fresh perspective, and helps you avoid making really serious mistakes. I think if Peter Parker would follow that kind of advice, he wouldn't find himself in so many relationship issues and just in general so much drama over the years. So I really enjoyed the issue, though. Overall, I give it about an 8.5 out of 10. There was a lot of things it could have done better, but there's a whole lot of things it could have done worse, too. Now, another book I want to talk about real quickly is Transformers vs. G.I. Joe issue number 1 that came out this past week from IDW. I like a lot of the IDW books, and I'm a huge Transformers and G.I. Joe fan, so I wanted to, you know, take this book on. I was really excited. But when I actually read the issue, I was kind of disappointed. The issue, basically, the whole story is about the first encounter that the Transformers have with G.I. Joe. It's not their very, very first encounter, but the first encounter of this series, and it's just a big battle royale. To be honest with you, one of the things I hated the most about this book was also one of the things that I liked the most about it, and that was the artwork. They purposefully made this comic look like it was something out of the 1980s. I mean, I literally felt like I was 5 years old again looking through comic books that I couldn't even read the words to. It was faded, the colors were faded, the pages were kind of yellowed, and the dialogue was totally 1980s comic book cheese. I know they did this on purpose because it was a throwback to that style, which, you know, made me nostalgic, and, you know, it's like, oh man, I remember reading comic books like that. So it got a chuckle out of me. But at the same time, you know, I'm glad that we've moved beyond that stage in comic books. So it kind of detracted in some ways from that. One of the things I just really did not enjoy about the book, though, was every page was full of nothing but chaos. There was tons of stuff happening in this book, and it was just almost impossible to sort it all out. There was so much going on a given page that it took a long time to read this. And that's not because of the having massive dialogue. It's because I couldn't tell what the crap was going on in most of the artwork. I had to sit there forever and kind of, you know, figure out what was going on. And the pace was just chaotic. It was constantly just boom, 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 with no kind of story or anything. And I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy it as much as I was hoping to. I hope that the subsequent issues that are coming out will be much, much better. I don't know. It kind of made me nervous. So I would give that one probably a 6.5 out of 10. That was one of my most anticipated issues of last week, and so I was really disappointed when it didn't turn out to be as good as what I was hoping. But, you know, like I said, that could just be because it's a new series and they just want to do this fun little throwback thing. They might start working on developing a real good story to this in the next upcoming issues. Well, guys, that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay here and me rattling on about these comics. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.